Here are the psychological traits commonly found in people who prefer to be alone. 1. They rely less on external validation. People who prefer solitude don't need constant reassurance to feel secure. Their sense of worth doesn't rise and fall based on messages, reactions, or attention. They're comfortable not being immediately acknowledged. Many people constantly check their phones, waiting for likes, replies, proof that they matter. Their emotional state depends on external feedback. But solitary people develop something different: internal validation. Psychologists use this term to describe identity that's anchored internally rather than externally. This means your sense of self doesn't depend on how many people text you, whether you're included in plans, how others perceive your choices. Social media engagement, constant proof that you're valued. You can go days without social contact and still feel whole. This develops slowly. Each time you're alone and feel complete, not empty, you reinforce that stability. They don't disappear socially. They just don't depend on others to feel real. And that makes them remarkably resilient to rejection, exclusion, and criticism. Their worth is theirs. No one can give it to them, and no one can take it away. 2. They observe more than they speak. Solitary people are often quiet, not because they lack confidence, but because they prioritize understanding. They watch behavior, tone, and patterns before reacting. Silence gives them information. While others fill gaps with noise, they notice what's actually happening. They pick up on who interrupts whom, whose opinions get dismissed, who's performing versus who's genuine, what people say versus what they mean. This makes them highly perceptive and difficult to mislead. Time alone sharpens observation because you're not performing yourself. You're watching. Over time, this builds pattern recognition, how people behave when they want something, who's reliable, who's only present when it's convenient. This is social intelligence, quiet, accurate, and hard to fool. And once you see clearly, you become selective. 3. They protect their social energy. Not all nervous systems recharge through interaction. For people who prefer being alone, socializing drains energy quickly. Social interaction requires attention management, emotional regulation, impression management, constant cognitive processing. For some nervous systems, this depletes resources faster than they're replenished. They're not rejecting people, they're regulating stimulation. They've learned what overload feels like and how to prevent it. So, they protect their energy. They limit interaction length, choose quality over quantity, build recovery time into their lives, avoid draining relationships. This isn't selfish, it's advanced self-management. Once recharged, many solitary people are actually socially skilled. They're not incapable, they're intentional. 4. They engage in deep self-reflection. Time alone creates space for thinking. Solitary people ask themselves hard questions. Why do I feel this way? Is this habit healthy? Does this choice align with who I am? Constant social interaction prevents this. When you're always with others, you're always reacting. Solitude allows examination, and that builds self-awareness, self-understanding, self-acceptance, self-direction. This kind of reflection isn't comfortable. It requires honesty, but it leads to clarity. Solitary people would rather face themselves alone than live inauthentically among others. That takes courage. 5. They're highly selective about relationships. Solitary people don't seek connection out of fear. They're not afraid of being alone. That gives them freedom to choose relationships honestly. They ask, does this energize or drain me? Do I feel more myself or less? Is this reciprocal? They'd rather be alone than surrounded by the wrong people. This leads to fewer relationships, but deeper ones. And research consistently shows that depth predicts satisfaction better than quantity. 6. They develop strong emotional intelligence. Time alone forces emotional awareness. Solitary people learn to recognize emotions, understand their source, and regulate them internally. They process before reacting. They set boundaries without drama. They can sit with discomfort without immediately escaping it. This isn't emotional coldness. It's emotional clarity, self-awareness. The foundation of emotional intelligence requires solitude, and they've built it.